Reo Mikage is my favorite character and has always been one of my favorites. And even though he used to get a lot of hate, he has recently started to grow on a lot of people. And I believe he would have been better for his character if he decided to not help Nagi during the Menshine game. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, but only if you enjoy. And let me know which answer Reo should have gave Nagi. And as promised, since y'all got the Isagi video to 100 likes, there is the Reo video. And since y'all did great, let's get this video to 150 likes for Itoshi Rin video. But without wasting any more time, let's get into it. First, we need to talk about Rio's abilities. Rio's main ability is the Chameleon, which might be the most broken ability in all of Blue Lock. Basically allows him to copy any ability that isn't genetically gifted to a player. For example, Chigiri's speed, Kaiser impact, or Noah's ambidexterity. But he can also copy some of the most broken things in the series. For example, we have Oliver Aiku's defense, Itoshi Sai's dribbling, as well as Itoshi's ring shooting technique. So he has the ability to do everything, being a great defender, like being able to lock down Shido during the whole U20 game. I know he didn't do it alone, but that is a great job for somebody that isn't even a defender. Or to even checkmate the desperate Yukimiya, who basically beat the whole Menshine team on his own at some point. Being a great dribbler, basically having feet like nutmegging nests, or even destroying the whole bastard defense multiple times. But the Chameleon also has a striker mode, like copying Rin's shooting technique, and the only reason why he got blocked is because number 1, it was Kagamaru as a goalkeeper, and number 2, Kagamaru already saw it before when Rin did it. But it was still an insane outside spin that even Aiku couldn't block when Rin did it. And you wouldn't think that anybody is able to reproduce it, but Reo definitely can. What allows him to do all this are his stats and his dexterity. Basically having at least an A-class stats in everything, as well as not only having the highest IQ in Blue Lock, but also one of the best visions in Blue Lock. Combining all this gives him the ability to copy anything that is related to technique. Reo also has meta-vision, which is basically a godlike vision technique, making him even more of a monster than he already was. Like for example, being able to see Isagi's last play that even Kaiser wasn't able to see. With his abilities out of the way, let's talk about his character. Reo Mikage's motivation is different from everybody else. The main thing to keep in mind is that he doesn't even want to become the best striker in the world. He just wants to win the World Cup. But there's also the fact that other players have something to lose. If you take for example Naruhaya, who wants to help his family that is poor. And even Isagi, that has a goal in mind and will be completely devastated if he didn't reach that goal. Reo will simply be able to go back and live a peaceful life with his family and still be rich and successful. But instead of just taking that route, Reo is not satisfied. He doesn't want to be successful because of something that was given to him. He wants to work for his success. He wants something that he deserves, which is a very respectable trait about his character. After seeing Nagi's potential, Reo wanted to make him the best striker in the world, even though none of the two has touched a football before. Which is even crazier because Reo and Nagi are some of the best strikers/players in the world currently. Of course, I'm talking about U20 players. And it hasn't even been a year since Reo and Nagi started. What I like about Rio's character is the imperfection. Everybody likes the characters like Rin or Isagi, always having a great mindset, always having the good moments and everything like that. And a lot of people hated Reo because he was obsessed with Nagi, and that he cried when he left him and things along those lines. There was even people that wanted him to get eliminated in the second selection because for them he became a useless character. But to me, that is this part of Rio's character that makes him more interesting. Seeing that he had to go through this and had to mentally fight and beat all this to become the man that he is right now. And even though he wasn't obsessed with Nagi anymore, you can see that he wasn't completely healed by the fact that he was always thinking about Nagi and still wanted him to succeed even if he wasn't with his help. But he didn't have the mental strength to refuse when Nagi asked for his help. And even though now Reo seems very happy and they have a good relationship, I still don't think it was the best thing for his character. But I like when the character has nuance. Reo is a character that goes through a different struggle than everybody else. He is worried about different things and has a realistic problem. Reo's situation is a very real thing. But most people when they watch anime, they're not looking for this type of character. Instead, they just like the cool and cold characters, which is another reason why Takemichi is hated by so many fans. But the fact that Reo became one of the best players in Blue Lock after his depression is one of the best things in Blue Lock in my opinion. And I'm also happy that a lot more people are starting to like him. Reo's character shows you that even though he has everything, he's rich, he's smart, he's good with girls, he has good friends and people trust him, he has connections and everything along those lines, he's still able to be hurt by something. And it could be something that other people will consider the smallest thing. For example, Nagi leaving him to team up with somebody else. But Nagi is like a treasure for Reo. He's not just a simple friend or simple teammate. Therefore, it makes sense for him to be hurt after losing him. Another thing that's good is that the plot isn't really on his side. The best example of that is Isagi's speech after beating him in the second selection. These were supposed to be words that have touched Reo, basically understanding that he has to be the one to win and pick, instead of losing and expecting to be picked. The most shonen thing would have been for it to change his life right away and instantly turn him into a winner, allowing him to win all games because he's not supposed to be the one to lose and be picked. But the next thing that happened was him losing and being picked. But it's only during the third selection that Reo started being what he's supposed to be. Without Nagi there, Reo started developing himself. During the first selection, Reo was good at everything but not great at anything. But he's now working towards becoming great at everything. And from that point on, he only got better. Starting by being one of the only ones to score a goal in the third selection outside of the top 6. And then having a great defensive performance during the U20 game. So now being one of the biggest threats not only in Blue Lock but in the world. And the last reasons why he's my favorite character is because number 1, I love his design, and number 2, I've always been a big fan of copy characters. For example, Kisei Ryota is my favorite character in Kuroko no Basket. But now we need to talk about why I think he should have said no to Nagi. In the middle of the Menshine game, Reo started thinking about everything that happened in the past. Whatever Nagi did to him, whatever happened with Isagi, or whatever he had to go through. And then realizing the person that he has become. That moment of Reo remembering everything was so beautiful in my opinion, especially with that closing statement of Reo. It is time to show the world that Reo Mikage can fight on his own. This was the perfect moment for Reo to finally show who he was. And if that happened, I think Reo would have been the top 2 salaries in Blue Lock and not Nagi. If not top 1, because I know it was going to go crazy. Because maybe Menchan would have won the game too. I can see Reo scoring the goal on his own at that point, and Nagi being motivated by that, basically giving him the resolve to score that goal that he couldn't score this whole game, resulting in Menchan's victory. In my opinion, the author wanted Reo to stay balanced. He didn't want him to become too broken, so he sent Nagi to nerf him. And I'm not saying that he got completely nerfed because he clearly got better from that point on, but that was mainly due to his meta vision, as well as his egocentrism, because he also wanted to be the main character of that match, even if he wasn't by scoring goals. But imagine Reo dribbling on his own and making plays like Game Master Isagi, basically resulting in him scoring and him controlling the game, basically showing that he has completely surpassed Nagi, which would motivate Nagi even more and would have been way better for his character evolution as well. The whole point of Blue Lock was to cultivate the player's ego, basically meaning that reaching that point where you're able to do things alone without needing any specific player is the point that you want to reach. And Reo was basically about to reach that point before Nagi interrupted him. And since Reo wasn't completely over this and still wanted to team up with Nagi, he ended up folding and accepting to help. And this is another reason why I say the plot is not on his side. Because after such a beautiful scene of him remembering anything and resolving himself to do things on his own, Isagi or even Nagi would have gone crazy after that. Nothing was going to prevent them from shining. But since it is Reo who cannot allow that, he already has the ability to copy everything. If you give him the perfect mindset, he'll become too much of a monster. You may disagree with me, which is fine, but I believe leaving Reo was one of the best things that Nagi did for both of them. And Nagi coming back would also be the thing that ruins both of them. Let me know in the comment what you think about this video and about Reo's character. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, but only if you enjoy. And if this video reaches 150 likes, I will drop a Itoshi video. I'm glad you all got to this point. You can give me criticism or character suggestions for future videos, and I will see you all next time. Peace.